versus France. Wes, it might seem like France are all but qualified at this point as they top the group, but there is still a chance. They have to win by 6 goals against Usmakabyle. I mean, it looks like Kylian Mbappe here is through already for Usmakabyle, and he's gone for goal. Missed his chance, but how likely on a scale of 1 to 10 do you think it is to beat a player like Usmakabyle by 6 goals?
Well, I think I mean, it's hard to put into words, really. There is this kind of almost mythological kind of story that goes behind Usmakabyle. He's arguably, or at least in my eyes, is the best player on the planet. You know, you couple that with the fact that, you know, he's part of an incredibly good French setup, and it's going to be incredibly difficult, as we see here, trying to just break in at every opportunity. And you know, Croatia are no slouches, but they're going to need to be on their triple A+ game to get anywhere close, you feel.
Absolutely. You feel for Zana here, as he's tasked with one of the most impossible missions in eFootball PES that you can possibly suggest. Going up against the reigning world champion and having to beat them by what is essentially a cricket score. It's going to be difficult. Here is Moussa Sissoko for Usmakabyle. Fekir. Griezmann into Mbappe. Off the post and in. Turned home finally by Fekir. He was involved in the build-up. And he's the one who pokes it home. And, well, that 6-goal margin is just going to continue to widen, you feel, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen from his play with Monaco as part of in the eFootball Pro League. Once these guys start scoring, it kind of goes in 2s and 3s and 4s. So, you know, Croatia need to just tuck up a little bit. Just, you know, in terms of your boxing terminology, it's a bit of a flash punch. They need to kind of tuck up, get themselves composed, get themselves back into the game. You know, they have good players in their midfield. They have Ivan Rakitic. They have Luka Modric. You know, they have players and weapons around the place. They just need to be able to use them.
Well, Rafael Varane has seen a straight red for that challenge, so that makes things a little bit more interesting for Croatia here. An influential defender like Varane is certainly a player, if you can remove him from the game, you would choose to. Griezmann on the end of it. Man over at the far post, it's Fekir! Well, he just scores goals for fun. Usmakabyle. His second within 20 minutes with Fekir. Griezmann did the hard work. Fekir turned it home. Well, even with 10 men, France look well and truly poised to secure an undefeated qualification campaign.
Yeah, and it's you know, that mountain that we were talking about of Croatia having to climb, it just keeps getting steeper. You know, there's almost rocks falling down the hill now to make it even harder. But, you know, there's a slight bit of hope for them. 10 men, you know, there is a gap in that French defence. It's just whether Croatia can get an opportunity to exploit that gap.
Kramaric now towards the byline, looks for a man at the front post. Pressure's still on. Pass intended for Modric, I think, but well, Usmakabyl's bringing all the tricks out now. Fekir already has 2 goals to his name. Lovely weighted pass to Mbappe. Off the post. Chance again. I think he tried to chip the keeper there. Maybe the better option would have been Griezmann at the far post. But instead, Croatia, they come away with it. Well, I say that, but here is Sissoko, Mbappe, Griezmann, back to Mbappe! It's 3-0. And if you had any question as to why this man is the reigning world champion, why he's up there towards the top of the goal-scoring tables, league table with AS Monaco and assist tables to boot, I think he's putting on a clinic and really putting Croatia to the sword. 3-0 to France. And this one looks to get out of hand even with 10 men. So, if there was... I mean, if it stays this way, Croatia would have to bag themselves 9 goals. The way it works in the table, it comes down to head-to-head as a first tiebreaker. So, with France winning the first match-up 2 weeks ago, as Croatia maybe have a chance here, France were able to win 6-1 on that occasion. So, it would have to be essentially a differential of 6 goals for Croatia to somehow secure qualification. But this really, Wes, feels a bit like a victory lap for France. With Usmakabyle and Lotfi in their ranks, they're soaring high on top of the PES world, and they want to conquer the eEUROs as well.
Yeah, and you know, we know them, or we've gotten to know them very well through our kind of our casting with eFootball Pro, but you can see the will to win just runs through them, and you know, it's something that any club or any country have got to try and figure out how to stop. Croatia, you know, for all of their kind of their gusto, you know, they've not really had that many chances. You know, so it'd be interesting to see how their attacking line actually fares up against a 3-man French defence. They may find a gap. They may find an answer. We'll soon find out.
Well, chance now for Croatia. Luka Modric sprays it out wide. Paul Pogba doing amazingly defensively. Cut out low by Zana, and it looks as if the referee's playing an advantage here. Here is Perisic. Zuma across to meet it, and well, he's happy to bring the ball out himself. Here is Griezmann. Lovely ball down the side to Mbappe. Looks for a man at the front post. Was Fekir in there again? He smells himself a hat-trick here in the first half. He's looked very sprightly for France, and so far Croatia with no answer. That's a nice ball though, through to Kramaric. Plays it back. Petkovic is in here, tries to chip the keeper. Oh, it's just gone wide. So close, it dragged agonisingly across the face. Time stood still for a moment, but it's not the goal that Croatia need. Just 1 minute added on here in the first half. And that will be all she wrote. So, Usmakabyle is flying high despite being down to 10 men. He is well and truly in command of this tie. And France look like they are going to the eEURO 2020 finals. This is a chance though. Petkovic holds up his man well. And oh, there's a bit of an error there. Usmakabyle banked on it being a pass across goal, but that left the widest angle at the near post, and this is a gamble you take, Wes, but not often it pays off.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, you know, for anybody who's looking to try and figure out exactly what they do when somebody goes to their manual goalkeeping or goes to control the keeper, you just take your time. You don't make any rash decisions. Like, all you need to do pretty much is just wait for them to make a decision, and of course Usma does his absolute best there, predicts that it's going to be a cut across, but it leaves far too open of a gap, and you know, you like you said, it is a 50-50 chance. You try your luck, and for Usmakabyle, for once, something that he doesn't turn immediately to gold. So you know, brief glimmer of hope for Croatia. We'll see how this pans out in the rest of the second half.
It's one of those, isn't it, where if it comes off, you look like an absolute genius, but if it goes the other way, well, you look the fool. And unfortunately for Usmakabyle, it did not come off. Milic Looks to feed. I think Perisic was making a run from deep there. Petkovic was the target that time round. Here is Fekir. Griezmann has a couple of men running beyond. One of them is Sissoko. But Sissoko's actually been fouled here. So it will be a free kick to France. That one looks like it should have been going the other way. I think the referee's gotten himself... Well, I think he's got his wires crossed there.
Yeah, it didn't look much in that at all. So it's quite surprising to see it blown up. But you know, the ref's discretion is always final.
Oh, Giroud is through. Tries to beat the man. Zana guesses the right way. Perisic, oh, nice turn. What can he do with it now, though? That's France defending numbers. Modric, I mean, was looking for Kramaric, but just went too early, the Croatian man. And I think it's fair to say we're seeing France qualify for the eEURO 2020 finals with this result. I mean, as we said before, it would have taken a large goal margin for Croatia to qualify automatically by the top of the group. But you have to remember, they still have the last chance groups to come, as they have finished second comfortably here in Group J. Wouldn't be surprised to see them qualify. There's some very, very strong nations in those last chance groups. And there's a chance here for a Croatia goal. Kramaric. Well, the margin now, Wes, is down to just 7 goals. And we spoke at the top of this game about it being one of the most impossible things and impossible tasks in competitive PES. That goal gives them just a slimmer of hope.
Yeah, I think we may need to revise our prediction of impossible to more like improbable. It was a wonderfully worked goal from Croatia, and to again have the kind of the nous and the kind of the street knowledge to be able to lift that over a goalkeeper. It was a brilliant goal, and Croatia, you know, as you know, if I was walking into this type of game going into the second half, you know, you're looking to try and throw the kitchen sink at France. But I think more importantly, I think, you know, if you're looking at it from a last chance group scenario, Croatia kind of not one of the teams you really want to be coming up against.
Certainly not. We were writing them off and almost condemning them to being second place in this group, but still a lot of PES to be played, and this would be one of the most interesting competitive upsets in PES history if this were to happen. But Usmakabyle has the experience behind him to kill off games. Here is Olivier Giroud through one-on-one. Smart save. Will be a corner to France, but they're lucky that Giroud didn't poke that one home.
Yeah, it was a big outstuck leg from Kamlanic that stopped that from going in, but it hasn't stopped the danger just yet. Oh, as it looks like Griezmann's going to deliver this in.
In swinger from Griezmann. Played low, but dealt with by Zana, and now with Rebic, he can come forward. Usmakabyle marking players ahead of him, and here is Griezmann after Usmakabyle won the ball back. Moves to Sissoko. Back to Olivier Giroud. Oh, good save. It's sat up nicely for him on the volley. Might still be on here for Giroud. Mix up at the back. And that's one Croatia will not want to see again. It's an absolute calamity. It's a catalogue of errors. And France, after so many chances in front of the Croatia goal, Giroud finally sticks it home.
We talk about the task being improbable. You profits of your own downfall, especially when that that's the type of chance. I mean, it's, you know, it's unfortunate for Croatia. There's tired legs at the back, and you know they've been chasing the game all game. And again, it's what we talk about constantly. If that, you know, if you don't make a defensive substitution, those bad touches can happen at the back, and it'll ultimately lead to what we've just seen, which is a miscommunique, and all of a sudden it's, you know, 4-2 to France, and Usmakabyle kind of just looks like he's going through the motions now.
Yeah, every time he comes forward, he looks like fashioning a decent chance, as Thauvin is wrestling against Lovren, will actually win the battle, and it's still going around the back here, still on for France. Finally, Kalinic, that's a 5 minutes or so that he'll want to forget. Throws himself onto the ball, Wes.
You could see Thauvin was just constantly trying to get that ball back. He's Griezmann into Pogba.
Yeah, chance here for Pogba. Like I say, looking for Giroud, but yeah, looks like for now, oh well, he's given the ball away once again. Sissoko looked for Thauvin once again. And now Croatia turning defence into attack themselves. Kovacic cannot find a way through. And France, despite being down to 10 men, have absolutely bossed this first leg. Sissoko back to Areola. Oh, and it's going to bounce maybe all the way through for Giroud, but Lovren has the legs to be into it. Sissoko, as we're into the last minute of added on time. Is there a chance for a fifth? Croatia say no. And there we go, we'll end the game. 4-2 to France. As it stands, Wes.